Good morning. Welcome back, students. This is your sociology class. Today, again, we will do some revisions. Today, I want to discuss about our second chapter. That is, the chapter is term concepts and use in sociology. First of all, we have already covered the chapter, but again we will revise it. So students, I am requesting to all of you, please listen carefully. First of all, we have to make a clear view about the sentence, that is the terms, concepts and their use in sociology. Why we will study? According to the sociologist like the Peter Berger, like the Emile Durkheim, like the Auguste Comte, terminology is possibly very important for sociology because we are familiar with its subject matter and there already exist words to denote it. Okay, every discipline has a certain set of terms like economics or like the sociology or like psychology or home science and corresponding concepts that will help in learning and understanding the discipline easily. Terms can be a word for we are used to describe a thing or express a concept. Especially for the sociology, concept and the terms are very important because it gives us idea that helps to explain or conceptualize a term to gain a better understanding of the subject matter of the particular study. I want to say also that sociology as a discipline is marked by different ways of understanding society. Okay, so these terms, concepts and their uses, we have to know it. If we have a clear ideas about all these terms, concepts and their uses, so we can easily control the subject. We can easily try to mold the subject. Okay. First of all, we need to specific terms and concept to understand our divergent views about how and why society exists. Sociology as a discipline allows coexistence of concepts that leads to divergence of views. For example, conflict theory versus the functionalist theory. I will explain the theory later on. This multiplicity of approaches is particularly acute in sociology. Okay, understood? Now in our book wise, first I want to discuss about the social group. Students, you have already learned the chapter and all the subtopics included in the chapter, but still today we are going to revise it. So please memorize all the terms, concepts and whatever are present in the chapter. First of all, social groups. Society is formed by human interaction, right? Human interaction means communicate and the construct social collectivities. These collectivities are reflected to as social group and exist in every society. Okay, we have something in common with others in the same group. We identify with the group and the group can create a sense of belonging for us. However, the types of groups that exist may differ from society to society. Thus, Social group refers to a collection of continuously interacting persons who share common interest, who share common culture, values, and norms within a given society. According to the sociologists Horton and Horn, social groups are aggregates or categories of people who have a consciousness of membership and of interaction. So you can say that a group is also different from a category. If you were in the same category as a person, you may share similar characteristics like age, like height, or you both wear spectacles, but you may not interact or feel the sense of belonging. Understood? Aggregates can thus be defined as simply collections of people who are in the same place at the same time but share no definite connection with one another. Passengers waiting at a railway station or airport or bus stop or a cinema audience are example of aggregates. Such aggregates are often termed as quasi-group. Now I will explain what do you mean by quasi-group. Quasi, quasi-groups. A quasi-group can be defined as an aggregate or combination which lacks structure or organization and whose member may be unaware or less aware of the existence of the groups. For example, anyone can tell me example? Yes, social classes, status group, age groups, gender groups can be quasi groups. Now the difference between social group and quasi group. There is a thin line difference between quasi group and social group. A group of people can take the form of a quasi group at some point and as a social group in specific circumstances. For instance, teenagers worrying about different kinds of physical problems like the pimples or different kinds of problems like the what I said, that pimples, okay. Then teenagers in metropolitan cities, etc., they are quite bothered about that. Can be example of quasi groups. However, in specific circumstances, when the group of teenagers turns out to be studying in the same class, a group of common friends, etc., it became social group. Suppose for class 11, okay, 5 students or 6 students, they having a common goal, a definite interest, their style, their views and their ages more or less similar. These types of groups you can call social group. Generally, we are use the term that is peer group. But what is quasi group? When few of the students, specifically the girls, who are in the time of school period or in the time of their I want to say that the leisure time, they are generally talking about different kinds of current affairs or any types of movies, or what I said that the problems of pimples. Okay, so these particular explanations or the interest, it is only for the few minutes or the few hours, but after that these particular girls again they are joining their social groups. Okay, so I hope you understood the difference between the quasi group and the social group. Now I want to say that the few important characteristics of social groups. A social group can be said to be that persistent interactions to provide continuity. Yes, social group needs continuity. A stable pattern of these interaction. A sense of belonging to identity with other member. That is, each individual is conscious of the group itself and its own set of rules, rituals and symbols. Shared interest. Acceptance of common norms and values. A definite structure, and their views, their interests are more or less same. Okay, students. Now another point is coming, that is the types of social group. I hope students all of you knows the different classifications of social groups, like the formal group, informal group, primary group, secondary group, peer group, reference group, out group, in group. Lots of divisions are there. I hope all of you knows very well. Okay, so I'm requesting to everyone, please read out the chapter once again. Now I want to discuss our next portion, that is social stratification. If anyone have any confusion, you can now clear it out. Social stratification. Social stratification can thus be defined as the existence of structural inequalities between groups in society in terms of their access to material or symbolic rewards. According to Ogburn and Nimkoff, a famous sociologist, they said that social stratification as the process by which individuals and groups are ranked in more or less enduring hierarchy of status is known as stratification. Actually, they said that society can be seen as consisting of strata in a hierarchy, with the more favored at the top and the less privileged near the bottom. Stratification has a crucial place in the organization of society. Every aspects of the life in every individual and household is affected by stratification. Opportunities for health, security, educational success, fulfillment in work, and political influence are all unequally distributed in systematic ways. Now I want to discuss about the forms of stratification. In our book, NCERT book, we have some of the forms of stratification. Number 1, slavery. Slavery. Yes, slavery is the extreme form of inequality in which some individuals are literally owned by others. Anyone heard that? The Greeks and the Romans kept slaves as soldiers, servants, laborers, and even civil servants. The Romans captured slaves from present day Britain, France, and Germany. slave armies were kept by the powerful countries. As a formal institution, slavery has at present been eradicated. However, there are still instances of its existence found in numerous forms in many corners of the world. So, first, slavery is a form of social stratification. Next, you can say that caste as a system of stratification. Actually, in the view of caste, your social position is determined by the caste. You are born in, you cannot change your caste. Caste dedicates the type of work an individual can do and doesn't allow occupational mobility. Caste endogamy is practiced with regard to marriage. An individual can marry only within his or her caste. Caste determines one's social relationship. Social interaction is restricted by caste. There is restriction in terms of food and food sharing also. Nowadays, we are breaking our systems. Class as a system of social stratification. We have discussed caste. Now my next point is class. Class system is different from the other form of stratification of four main aspects. The boundaries between class group is not as clear cut as the caste system. Yes, class is a complicated. Class status can be achieved, but caste status is ascribed. You cannot change your caste, but you can change your class. The class stratification is mainly based on inequalities with regard to possessions of economic resources. The process of inequality operates through large-scale impersonal association of the members. Now the next division, that is status and role. First of all, we have to know about what do you mean by status. Status refers to the position an individual occupies in a group or in society. Each status has certain defined rights and duties assigned to it. Example of status: doctor, mother, teacher, etc. Status are generally two types that I already said, that is achieved status and ascribed status. It is achieved by an individual on merit and effort, that is achieved status. And ascribed status, it is assigned to us on the basis of birth, means biological, inheritance, parent status, etc. Class is based on individual choice, but on the other hand, caste, a person does not choose his status. Okay. Now next points, I want to say that the multiple status and status progression in a modern complex society such as our, an individual may occupy multiple status during the course of his or her life. This is sociologically termed as status set. Okay, try to remember the term, that is status set. For example, you as a school student, right, may be a student to your teacher, a customer to your grocer, a passenger to the bus driver, a brother or sister to your siblings, and a parent to your mother, and patient to the doctor. Now understood? So, individual also acquire different status at various stages of life. This is called a status sequence, for it refers to the status which is attained in succession or sequence at various stages of life. For example, very easy example, a son become a father, then a grandfather, and then a great grandfather, and so on. So understood, students? I'm requesting to everyone, please revise the chapter once again. If you have any problem, then you can contact me. That's all for today. Thank you, everyone.